Okay, the premise of this video is that I can say pi really fast. So I'm going to show you, and then I'm going to show you like how I remember, because I think it's really cool. And I feel like everyone who does this probably does it a different way. And for whatever reason, I feel extremely compelled to show you my way. So without further ado, 3.14192653388419719399745020974945828262862089986280348253421170679. Okay, anyway, without further ado, this is my organizational system. Okay. The first thing you have to know is I memorized up to, I think I knew up to here. I knew up to 433. And this I had done previously just from living life in the world of numbers. I knew this much pi. So this is not organized because I already knew it. And then for the rest of it, the reason that this is also appended onto here is because it's in groups of 10. So like, okay, wait, 1, 2, 3, 40, 50, 67. Okay, so this is exactly 30 digits of pi. And I knew up to 433, so I just kind of like finished this set of 30. That was done. And then each additional, like anything I had to add would have had to be like an additional set of 10, right? And I did it in tens, and I did it like a phone number. I don't know, I think that might be how it's organized in some like versions of this on the internet, but I find it really helpful. And I don't like, this is probably also the case if you organize it any other way, but I do find that organizing it in groups of 10, some interesting patterns appear. Okay, so I'm just gonna go through one line, like each line, and explain to you like the fun little connections we can make. Okay, so okay, first, right off the bat, I just want to say 50, like these two lines are kind of just like primacy and recency bias, right? Like, because they're the first line that I didn't know and the last line that I didn't know, I just remembered them. But everything in between, I can explain. Okay, well this one, there's not that, the only thing that's sort of interesting here is 1971 is kind of like a year, so I just remember like, it's the one that kind of looks like a year that has transpired recently. This line, so nothing too crazy here either, it's just a lot of multiples of 3, so we have like 693, 993 in order, and then 7501, nothing too special about this other than the fact that it's sort of reminiscent of 1971, so you sort of remember. I will also say 884993, this pattern of like like AAB, and there's also a 338 in the last set of 10 in the middle group, like this is like the first 3 of the set and the second 3 of the set and then the third. So this is a recurrent pattern for this set of 10, this set of 10, and this set of 10, where the middle set of 3 has an AAB pattern. Okay, so that's that, like sets of multiples of 3, and then this ends in 1. Here's where it starts to get interesting. Okay, so 582, you'll notice here, right? So we have 502, and then it skips 1, and then it does 582, 592. So this is really easy to remember because it's like, okay, we have the 502 set, right? When I'm thinking about this, like when I'm reciting it out loud, I think about it in sets of 10. So I'm like, oh, it's the 502 set, or like it's the 582 set. So sometimes you'll see me like, I think the most common place for me to stutter is like right before the beginning of a set, because once I get the set going, I kind of know what the rest of it sounds like because I memorized it like one set at a time. So 582, 592, really easy to remember because it's literally just like a 5 blank 2. And I remember in my head it goes like, okay, 5 blank 2 pattern, not 5 blank 2 pattern, 5 blank 2 pattern, 5 blank 2 pattern. And it's 8 and 9 are 1 apart. So it's easy to remember that, you know, it just goes up by 1. It goes from 0 to 8 to 9. So it's always increasing. So that's easy to remember. Also, for the 582 set and the 592 set, the 582 set also has this middle one that ends in 7, right? So we got these two 7s here. And then also, this last set ends in 4. And not only does it end in 4, there's a couple interesting things. Okay, so for the 582 set, it goes 4944. And the fact that it starts with 4 and ends with 2 4s is like not that interesting, but mostly it's the fact that it goes like 944. So there's like an ABB pattern to end, right? Now this ABB pattern repeats itself 2 sets later in 899. Okay, so here's also an ABB pattern, and I just have to remember, right? ABB pattern, it skips one, and then there's another ABB pattern. And this one, I remember it because it's 2 perfect squares, right? 81, 64. Also, this is 49. I just realized that. I have not been using that as a heuristic because I've been using like, how do I remember this one? It's 2 perfect squares. Perfect square, perfect square. And you know, it helps that these 2 both end in 4. Okay, moving on. 062, this 062 you just kind of have to remember, but then 062 and then immediately 862, right? So you got repetition of the 62, and then again the ABB pattern, so 899, 944, right? This to me feels very reminiscent of that, so it's just a repetition. And then 862 comes up again, right? 862, and then I just have to remember the next one starts with 8. And then 4825, 25, another perfect square, and then 48, it's not a perfect square, but it's like, it looks like, I don't know, it's a clean number. It's a good clean number. And so I associate like 25 also with 48 because they're both like 2 good clean numbers. And then this is, again, just recency. But that's all of the patterns that I have. So just to recapitulate, we got the 5 blank 2 pattern. We have the ending in 4s repetition. We have the ABB. We have the repetition of 6-2, like 6-2, 6-2, 6-2. The repetition of 8 here. And then 6-2 here and 8-6-2 here and 8-6-2 there. And then the perfect squares / nice looking numbers. And yeah, and then, I don't know, I feel like once you kind of get all of these ideas, you start to remember like what order they go in, right? So it's like, okay, after 502, we know it's the, and the multiples of 3, right? The multiples of 3 line, like after 502, the 502 set, it's the multiples of 3 set. And then after that, it's the 582 set and the 592 set. And then nested within the 582 and 592 sets, they're like, you know, the repetition of 7, the 4944, ABAA, or like XBAA for the later ones. And then you do that enough times and you do it like while you brush your teeth every morning for like a couple weeks, and then you got it.